Hello everyone, my name is Mickel A, and I am the Reference and Instruction Librarian for Generic Community College. Today, I will be talking about my instructional design plan for a proposed library course in online information literacy. It is called Scholar Crawler. Most academic libraries provide instruction in information literacy so that students can meet their educational requirements while also developing an important set of critical thinking skills that will last a lifetime. For many years, Generic Community College, a library, or GCCL, has provided information literacy instruction with a 2-hour class that shows users how to use library databases, reference services, and journals to find scholarly sources for their assignments. These classes have always focused on the physical resources of the library, using short lecture-style talks within the library or English classes. In the last few years, online courses and distance learning have created the need for online information literacy as students demand more access to online materials. Students find themselves frustrated by database searches and turn to popular sources to complete their assignments, reducing the scholarly value of their work. This proposal addresses the need of mandatory information literacy education at GCC. Information literacy must be accepted at the program level with both fall semester and spring semester course enrollment and taken for 1 unit of credit that will be applied to the student's graduation and degree. The proposed pilot learning program will be branded as Scholar Crawler and will be introduced to the freshman student population upon admission into college. Scholar Crawler will be designed using both online and face-to-face strategies to deliver instruction to the widest range of learner styles within our student population. This proposal will discuss the instructional design that librarians, instructors, and administration will develop to create critical thinkers and lifelong learners within our academic community. The first step in the instructional design is conducting a needs assessment, where we will analyze the learner's characteristics. We will ask, who is our audience, and find out what they already know and what they need to know to become successful at our institution. We also will determine what extant materials exist to facilitate instruction. Our potential learner audience is comprised of all incoming freshman students at GCC. Potential learners should come into the course with a minimum understanding of how to use a computer. This includes the ability to operate a mouse and keyboard and open, create, edit, and print Microsoft Word documents and Adobe PDFs. Potential learners should be able to access the internet using popular web browsing software and be able to view streaming video files, like those found on YouTube. Learners will enter the course knowing the topic that they will be researching, as it will be the topic for a written assignment in their English 1 classes. There are currently no online extant materials or learning objects for use in the Scholar Crawler instruction module, as information literacy education in the past has been one-on-one or in face-to-face group classes using handouts. The handouts are mainly used for researching topics in the stacks, in microfiche, and in reference, which are areas that Scholar Crawler does not cover. Librarians at GCCL will determine the instructional goals for Scholar Crawler and perform goal analysis. We will question why our learners require information literacy skills training and determine what the outcomes will be. The main goal for Scholar Crawler is to teach community college students how to use GCCL's online resources to conduct research on a topic and to evaluate resources for scholarly value. This education is required for students to meet class requirements for written projects and assignments. It also teaches students to think critically about their topics and to form a thesis based on peer-reviewed sources. The outcomes of the instruction is the learner's ability to utilize the library's OPAC and databases to locate online resources, and to be able to evaluate each resource for scholarly value. An equally important outcome is that their attitudes regarding scholarly sources will improve as they begin choosing them over non-scholarly sources. All librarians will be involved in setting and analyzing goals, and all instructors will be invited to take a collaborative role. Learners will also be part of the goal setting process as their skills and attitudes will be surveyed in order to fine-tune the program following instruction. GCCL will evaluate the success of Scholar Crawler using 3 evaluation tools. First, a pre-instruction quiz will measure the responses of students regarding research and evaluation and will ask them to rate themselves in their current skills. Following instruction, students will be given similar questions and asked to rate themselves again. The objective of this assessment will be to test actual improvement while also quantifying changes in attitudes. The second method of goal assessment will be a library test following training. This test will be in the form of an online workbook that will be graded. If the student does not pass with a minimum score, they will be required to retake the test or solve the questions that they answered wrong. The final assessment will take place at the end of the semester, a few months after they complete the Scholar Crawler learning module. A follow-up survey will be given online for learners to complete that will rate their successes in research papers and classwork. In the instructional analysis step, librarians will outline the general concepts leading to specific information literacy behaviors that students will learn. An overview of the process is outlined in 11 steps. 1. Student decides the topic that he or she will research. 2. Research steps using online databases are learned in a training overview. 3. Instruction imparts the difference between controlled vocabulary and keyword searching. 4. Students learn the importance of choosing scholarly over non-scholarly resources. 5. Learners determine how to differentiate between primary and secondary sources. 6. Evaluation of online resources such as websites, databases, journals, and articles is examined. 7. Student composes search strings in the OPAC and in databases. 8. Comparing 2 resources of differing viewpoints is examined. 9. Learner develops a thesis statement. 10. Scholarly resources are used to support a thesis statement or argument. And 11. Proper citing of sources in research papers is discussed. The entry behavior and learner characteristics step evaluates the minimum level of knowledge and abilities that learners must possess before beginning instruction in Scholar Crawler. Librarians will consider learner characteristics to appeal to and engage a wide variety of learning styles. Entry behavior is determined for both the asynchronous online area of learning and the synchronous face-to-face classroom workshop. In the asynchronous area of learning online, learners will be required to sign up for the course through Moodle, a course management system. They will take a pre-instruction survey where they will rate their basic computer skills, behaviors, and attitudes about information literacy. The student will need to know how to view streaming videos as there will be instruction given through video format. The students will need to navigate the course management system to download required readings, view links to website resources, and review each week's outline of objectives. Learners will be placed in groups of 25 to make discussion and collaboration manageable. Students will require 3 hours per week to complete the 4-week online portion of learning. Entry behavior in the synchronous workshop will focus on completing a paper quiz, breaking out into groups, and conducting online research strategies with group members. Learners will need to set aside 3 hours of time for this workshop. Combining 4 weeks of asynchronous online learning with a one-day face-to-face workshop is based on the strategy of the inverted or flipped classroom model, where classwork is done at home and homework is done in class. This is designed to appeal to different learner characteristics, such as interpersonal learners and intrapersonal learners. Global learners will like the fact that the online overview and learning objectives allow them to see the big picture, while sequential learners will like the workshop where they can apply the steps of research. A definition of the word strategy in dictionary.com states, a plan, method, or series of maneuvers or stratagems for obtaining a specific goal or result. We present our instructional strategy as a plan with a series of activities or maneuvers to support the goals and performance objectives detailed in this proposal. The 3 main areas of pre-instructional activities are motivation, objectives, and entry behaviors. For our learner population, there are several motivations that librarians can work with to encourage students to engage in the instruction while successfully meeting performance objectives. Beginning with the most impact, the possible motivations are: at the school level, learners will be motivated primarily by the grade they will receive in the Scholar Crawler course, which is a pass/no pass. A no passing grade will affect graduation requirements. At the class level, a prime motivation will be to pass the English 1 assignment they will be using as the research topic in the Scholar Crawler workshop. At the personal level, another source of motivation will be the user's topic itself, as they will be able to choose something they are personally interested in as long as it has scholarly value. The purpose of the instruction is to bring students up to speed on researching and evaluation skills so that they can successfully write papers using critical thinking. Performance objectives will be provided for each week's learning and will state what activities the learners will be able to perform and what goals will be met by the instruction. The performance objectives are based on Bloom's hierarchy, starting with basic application of knowledge and moving to more complicated forms of knowledge management, such as evaluation of resources. At the end of the Scholar Crawler instructional program, the learners will be able to successfully complete the following 6 performance objectives in order of increasing complexity. First, recognize scholarly and non-scholarly sources when presented with a list of articles. Second, explain the difference between a primary source and a secondary source. Third, use a library's online database to locate scholarly sources for a topic. Fourth, compare and contrast the strengths and weaknesses of 2 articles of opposing viewpoints. Fifth, develop a thesis or argument from a synthesis of ideas. And sixth, defend one side of an argument based on standards and merit from scholarly sources. Each student will need to possess 8 entry behaviors prior to instruction. First, they must be able to use a computer and internet browser. Second, they must enroll in an English 1 class to be able to sign up for Scholar Crawler. Third, they must log into the Moodle course management software and choose a seat in one of the 25-person groups. Fourth, they must take the online asynchronous pre-instruction survey on computer skills, attitudes, and behaviors. Fifth, they must be able to interact with online streaming videos. Sixth, they must use collaboration software to watch a live synchronous presentation. Seventh, they must complete the 5-minute pre-instruction quiz on information literacy at the start of the face-to-face workshop. And eighth, they must be able to collaborate in a small group setting. Since many of these entry behaviors require software that the learners may not have used before, A pre-instruction content page will be created in Moodle that will provide links to resources for the learner to review in preparation for Scholar Crawler. The information literacy skills taught in Scholar Crawler will be presented in the following order with an eye towards instructional resources, delivery options, and presentation. 1. The student begins class knowing the topic that he or she will research. 2. Instruction begins with a synchronous online collaboration meeting detailing an overview of the research steps when using online databases and sources. 3. The student learns the differences between controlled vocabulary and keyword searching in required readings and a streaming video on Moodle. 4. The importance of choosing scholarly over popular or non-scholarly sources is learned in required readings and a second streaming video. 5th, the students are shown how to differentiate between primary and secondary sources in required readings and in a third streaming video. Step 6. Students discuss how to evaluate resources such as websites, databases, journals, and articles using required readings and Moodle discussion boards. 7. Learners work in groups in a synchronous face-to-face workshop to locate primary, secondary, and peer-reviewed sources, while also evaluating articles, journals, databases, and websites for scholarly value. 8. A thesis statement is defined using recommended readings. Students suggest a thesis for a paper which is submitted via Dropbox. 9. Students are given a hypothetical argument via discussion board and defend a position using evidence from sources. And 10. Students learn how to properly cite sources and submit 5 to 10 sources for their English paper via Dropbox. The learning model for this instruction will be based on the flipped classroom model. The students will be directed to asynchronous instruction online prior to their in-class practical session at the library. In this model, the teacher moves into the role of coach and guide. The learners will perform the following participation activities online and face-to-face. 1. They will use a computer to access the course management software located on the library's Moodle website. 2. They will log into an online discussion group to introduce themselves to other members in their 25-person class and in their 5-person work group. 3. They will participate in a synchronous online session in collaboration software that provides an overview of instruction and chat with the instructor and other classmates within the session. 4. They will access links to related articles and other resources that gives advice on weekly topics. 5th, they will download the workshop workbook to bring to the face-to-face session for a group collaboration. 6th, they will attend a face-to-face synchronous classroom session of 25 people and meet the members of their 5-person groups. 7. They will take the pre-instruction quiz, grade a group member's results, and engage in classroom discussion within the workshop training. 8. They will practice logging into library databases and jot down their experiences in the workbook's journal. 9. They will complete the individual work section of the workbook. 10. They will take an assessment test at the end of the workshop to evaluate improvement. 11. They will practice writing a thesis statement in online discussion groups. And 12. They will engage in lively discussion online, arguing for one side of a popular debate using scholarly sources. GCCL librarians and stakeholders will develop the instructional materials and learning tools to perform educational activities within the Scholar Crawler program. Many of the images, videos, lectures, and other learning objects will be used and manipulated by technologies such as Snagit, Moodle, and Blackboard Collaborate. Many of the materials will be developed within third-party software that have the capabilities to create a variety of learning objects and processes, such as discussion boards and quizzes. The proposed materials that will be used online or face-to-face include a course site created in the course management software Moodle. This site will be where the lectures, learning objective outlines, required readings, workbook PDF downloads, discussion boards, and grading will be hosted. A pre-assessment online quiz to be taken before the course begins. A course outline with learning objectives in both paper and web page forms. Use and manipulation or editing of Creative Commons pictures, images, and graphics for use in handouts, lectures, and other course site functions. A synchronous learning session in Blackboard Collaborate that is an overview of the information literacy concepts to be taught in the 4-week course. Recorded presentation lectures of the relevant areas of study. These will consist of slides or screencasts with notes written for the instructor to use. A workbook for the face-to-face workshop with written activities and a section for journal entries. A post-learning test. Discussion board areas for students to discuss weekly issues such as thesis topics and scholarly debate. An evaluation of the course for students to complete, and an end of semester follow-up survey. The 3 main technological tools that will be used to manage course site activities and create or edit learning objects will be Moodle, Snagit, and Blackboard Collaborate. Each serves a different function that will streamline the instructional design process and easily allow the flipped classroom model to be applied. Of these 3 softwares, students will be required to access and use Moodle and Blackboard Collaborate. Snagit is a utility tool that the instructor will use to create learning objects. Moodle is the most important software for both the instructor and students, as it is a course management software. It streamlines education and gives structure to learning. Basic functions not only include organization, but also document delivery in the form of Dropboxes and grade assignment. Moodle can create surveys, quizzes, and tests for assessment. Other important functions include a chat feature for learner-to-teacher communication, web meetings for office hours and lectures, and much more. Moodle is an open source software which makes it affordable, but it still has the ability for customization. Moodle provides information in easily remembered chunks that improves learning yet doesn't overwhelm users by trying to cram instruction in a single class. Snagit is another program that we will be using, and the Scholar Crawler learning program contains many different online and paper activities that may require images and videos for slides, lectures, handouts, and other learning objects. Images such as clip art can be very useful to break up blocks of information. For video tutorials, voiceover audio will also be used to explain what is happening during the course of the video. With screencasting software, these learning objects can be captured and manipulated without having to hire a graphic designer or videographer. The Snagit screencasting software allows the instructor to capture both images and videos and will be helpful for creating tutorials on accessing academic databases. The only weakness in the software is that it does not provide voice over IP capability, which would be necessary for creating synchronous lectures for students to participate in. For this capability, GCCL librarians will turn to Blackboard Collaborate. For the purposes of creating an online synchronous lecture or presentation, many instructors turn to voice over IP software, since all group members must be able to speak in real time with quality and clarity. Blackboard Collaborate is a brand name and has the architecture to provide a collaboration tool with chat functions, Blackboard and slideshow features, and recording of the session for asynchronous playback. These functions allow for communication from teacher to student, student to teacher, and student to student. Closed captioning of the session also provides accessibility to a transcript for those who may need one. Testing the success of the learner's research behavior after instruction will determine if the Scholar-Crawler program is achieving results. This is important for both the student and the librarian. First, if the student has been found not to learn the concepts, then additional instruction may be needed in order to help the student succeed in both graduation requirements and course studies. Second, if most of the students are found to fail a section of the instruction, then the instructional design must be flawed and deserves a second look, if not a redesign. Learners will be evaluated first by comparing a pre-instruction quiz with a test at the end of the workshop to determine if there was any improvement. The second evaluation tool is the grading of the workbook, which will be done after the workshop ends. The results will be given in the grade section on the Moodle site. If there are improvements still needed, then the student will individually return to the library for independent study to ensure that the concepts in the instructional unit are mastered. The rubric for the student's course evaluation will be the performance objectives themselves. The third evaluation will be a survey given at the end of the semester, a few months following the end of participation in Scholar-Crawler. An email will be sent to all learners with a link back to an online survey questionnaire hosted on Moodle. The information will be used to encourage the learner to continue using proper research and evaluation methods. It will also assess the effectiveness of the training in the student's English 1 papers and in the learner's personal attitudes and behaviors. The survey will help librarians improve upon the program if any gaps or failures in instruction are determined by this polling data. Development of Scholar-Crawler and all of its learning objects will take place over the summer prior to the fall semester pilot launch. After fall semester, data will be analyzed to determine the strengths and weaknesses of the program, and suggestions for improvement will be made. Overall, we hope the pilot is a success and will continue on as an important information literacy program. The proposed instruction is considered practical because librarians will be applying learner-centered theory to practice within the library. Data will be collected, leading to corrections, adjustments, and other instructional design alterations. Unlike an ideal environment where the instruction has previously been developed by third-party vendors, Scholar-Crawler is practical because of the limited costs for development, considering the large population of potential learners. The library staff are excited to put into practice the inverted classroom theories, and by doing so, GCCL librarians will not only maintain control of learning objects, but also develop excellent research skills in this exciting area. Scholar-Crawler is realistic because it offers learners a variety of experiences in which to learn online information literacy. Practical approaches allow instructors to choose different techniques that engage learners of the widest range of learner styles and types. The actions and data from one semester can be used to improve the next semester's instruction in this learner-centered strategy. Outcomes will lead to a greater body of scholarly research at GCC while also cultivating a new generation of lifelong learners. Thank you for watching our presentation for the Instructional Design Plan for Scholar-Crawler. For more information on information literacy instruction, the flipped classroom model, or any of the technologies discussed today, please contact me or view the sources on your screen. This is Mickel A, Reference and Instruction Librarian, presenting from the GCC Library.